coming on to do a little quick vid, won't be long, won't take up too much of anybody's time, but I'm just setting up two cameras at the same time, so one tends to go live before the other one does. Where's the live? Go live. Add a description. So just bear with me and I'll start chirping. Watch. Package. Well, cool. Okay, so I think we're on now. I think they're both on, yeah. Share that with that one. Okay, so hello everybody. Won't keep you waiting for long, but I do want to pass on how I think I've got the virus. And we're tested positive now. Hello RJ. I saw your, just as I was going on, I saw your thing saying I'm ready for your package. Are you all done up like a dog's dinner with your pee? Ready to open, and the gas mask ready to open the package. So how I think, yeah, still trying to pack up the smuggling. So how I think I've got the virus. So when I was in hospital having the heart attack, and they fixed me up and did the stent and worked on me and everything, they were amazing. The care and the duty of care that they're taking in the hospitals is phenomenal. I mean, they are PPE'd up to the eyeballs. They are doing everything within their power to make sure that the virus doesn't spread and so on. However, that said, I do think that there is a little bit of an area where there is a trick being missed, if you like. And it's not, and that's not me pointing the finger in any way, shape or form. That is just me highlighting really an area where I think things are being a little bit missed. And how can you get every single thing? So anytime a nurse came anywhere near me, within 10 feet of me, I put on a mask. They've got masks on, they've got the plastics on, the head things, everything. PPE'd up, everything. But there's an area in which it's almost like a dropping of the ball, slightly. And like I say, you can't fix everything, but it will help if I pass this information on to you, and then anytime you are maybe in proximity or something like that, you can take a little bit more care. So the one thing that happens a lot, Dragon Lord coins. The one thing that happens a lot when you go into a hospital is that you've got certain things that are just ongoing all of the time. So people will come round giving you a cup of tea. They'll come round giving you your dinner. They'll come round giving you your tablets. They will come round with a piece of paper and a pen, and they'll give you this to write down what it is that you want for lunch and what you want for breakfast tomorrow. Anybody that's been in hospital, that's not changed in my entire life. They come round every day and they give you a bit of paper and they give you a pen and they say, can you tick what you want for lunch for tomorrow? What they're not doing is, you haven't got somebody washing their hands and changing their gloves every time they give you a pen. You haven't got somebody washing their hands and changing their gloves every time they take a meal off the trolley and hand it to a patient. What they're doing, naturally, is people assume, and quite rightly I suppose, that the previous department is all clean and tidy. So therefore the kitchen is, we've tested the kitchen's okay, therefore everybody in the kitchen is fine. But if one person has come into contact with the virus, just one person, What they're not doing in the kitchen, because they couldn't, is they're not washing their hands and changing their gloves every time they plate a meal up and put it on the trolley. If they did that, all the meals would go cold. If you think about it logically, they wouldn't have the facility to wash their hands and change their gloves every single time they do every single thing. So when they're passing the meals around, when they're giving you the pen to write down, you know, that pen invariably has just come from another patient. And all they've done is they'll go over and they'll take a pen off the previous patient's table and they'll put it on your table for you to fill in your one. And you're touching the pen. And then, of course, touching your face or whatever you're doing without even thinking. And that was me, without even thinking. I've just picked up the pen that they've given me, I'm using it, I put the pen down, they take the pen off me, they go and give it to somebody else. So I honestly believe that's how I've caught the virus. I've caught the virus from one of the peripherals. When you go to the toilet, you haven't got somebody going back every 5 minutes, washing the taps, cleaning the taps, cleaning the light switch, cleaning the door handle and everything else. So as a patient, I'm walking into the toilet after someone else has walked into the toilet. And invariably that person hasn't got hold of some wipes and wiped down the door. When I think about it, I went in for a shower, I didn't take wipes with me and wipe the handle of the door and the handle of the taps and the switch of the shower and anything else in that bathroom that I touched. I wasn't washing it all down first before I've used it, and I didn't wash it all down afterwards after I'd used it. If somebody had told me I needed to do that, I might have done it. That's almost like I'm passing the buck, and I'm not, because I'm compass mentis enough and logical enough to have, I should have thought of that myself. I should have thought to myself, I'm going into the bathroom, I need to wipe the door handle, I need to wipe the taps, I need to wipe the switches. Because one thing that nobody seems to know at the moment, even though we've all seen all sorts of stories and one thing and another, we don't really know how long does the virus last on a bit of paper? How long does it last on a bit of cardboard? How long will it last on my pipe? How long will it last on the pen? Nobody knows these questions, and nobody knows the answers to these questions. But what I do know is as close to 100% as I can bring it to, is I know that I haven't caught the virus from close contact, because there was no close contact without any PPE. Everybody was protected up to the eyeballs. But the one thing that wasn't protected was the constant cups of teas, coffees, the lunches, the plates, the pens, the forms, anything else I might have touched. When they come around and give you your tablets, they give you your tablets and they give you a little plastic cup that's got your tablets in it, which they are putting together, put the tablets in, and then they give you your cup, and they're wearing gloves and they're wearing PPE. But it's the same pair of gloves that they've had on for the last 20 minutes or 10 minutes, and they've handled however many little pots of tablets and passed them from one person to another person to another person to another person. Whilst I was in there, I didn't have my battery charger with me. So I'm asking the nurses, would you mind putting my phone on charge in the nurses' station, please? Which they duly did. And, you know, again, I'm not complaining about any of the people in the hospital whatsoever, because they're all doing their jobs correctly and properly and wonderfully. But of course, I realise that if you think about it logically, if I've caught the virus and there's not been close contact, then how have I caught that virus? Asking the nurses to put my phone on charge, which they did, and put it on charge and then give my phone back to me, was a lovely, lovely service, if you like, for them to be able to do, especially while they're busy. But of course, you know, then you now sort of sitting back thinking about it, it's like, oh yeah, did they wipe the phone? Did they disinfect my phone before they give me the phone back? No, they didn't, as I think about it. Did I disinfect the phone before I give it to them? No, I didn't. I'm just laying there in the bed saying to the nurse, would you mind putting this on charge in the nurse's station? Yes, of course, Mr. Lambert, we'll do that for you. And off they go. And in that instant, all of the PPE, in a sense, sort of goes out the window, because in that instance, the phone gets infected. The phone is then passed from one person to another, who then passes it back to me. It's been put on charge. It's been put in the nurse's station, where someone else is going to put something else. They're going to pick something up, and they're going to put it down, and it's going to be close to it. So for me, it's about the peripherals. And I spoke to the test and trace people and explained this to them, and they've assured me that they're going to take it up the chain of command, etc., in whichever ways that they can. I've spoken to the infectious diseases people, and I'm also waiting for Royal Bournemouth Hospital to phone me back from their infectious department. Obviously, I've caught it in the cardiology department, which is the department full of heart attack people and people with problems with their heart. So they're all vulnerable, and that's where I've caught it. But as I stress, I haven't caught it from anybody being lazy. I've not caught it from anybody not caring. I've not caught it from people not doing their job properly. Every single person that came within eyesight of me, every single person was doing their job more than properly. Every single person. You can't go, oh, you're not doing your job properly. They're all doing their job properly. But you can't think of every single thing. And obviously, every single thing is not being thought of, which is why you've got this explosion in the hospitals, in my opinion. You've got this explosion in the hospitals and the care homes, because you've got all of the peripheries, all of these little things that people are not thinking about, because it's just not coming up here. It's just not coming into the head. It didn't come into my head. I'm there for 2 days. I'm doing nothing but looking around and thinking, and I didn't think of it. So this is really important, and it's important that I do this video to let you guys know, because I'm now in the process of sending out parcels, and I'm wrapping and packing parcels for RJ and Ian and all of you people that are expecting these parcels from me. I'm wrapping and packing parcels whilst I'm infected. Thinking about it, that's not exactly the smartest move, is it? I now know that I'm infected, and I'm putting parcels together. So when I touch this, which belongs to Chris Dyer, and I'm wrapping it and I'm packing it, and then you get this parcel through the post from me, and you unpack the parcel, how long does the virus live on this piece of plastic? And if I've only just put the coins in to the sheet, well, how long does the virus live on that coin? You know, these are questions that nobody really knows yet, because the whole thing is new, and we've got all these new strains coming out, which if you've got a new strain coming out, then you've got a different kind of infection level coming out. Otherwise, they'd all be exactly the same strain, wouldn't they? And they'd all be exactly the same infection level, but they're not the same infection level, they're different strains. That means different infection levels. So when I send this to you and you open it, the pen's yours and you keep it. So, yeah, but in the hospital, it's not 1 pen per table, it's not 1 pen per patient. You know, the pens are transferred from table to table and ward to ward. Anybody got a pen? Somebody needs to fill in his thingy, you know. And so that leaves me worried, because I've just sent parcels out, and some of you are going to be receiving parcels off me. And what I would say is, let's do a little bit of extra due diligence. Let's do just a little bit more care, right? And when you receive any packages off me, maybe you leave that package alone for a couple of days. Or maybe you get the disinfectant out and you wipe the outside of that package before you even open it. And then when you've got the goods inside, maybe you give it a wipe over or a disinfectant with your wet wipes or your bitses and pieces, right? And it applies to every single one of you. I see Michael Bloxham. Hello, Michael, you're watching. There's an envelope on its way to you. Again, I would say when it arrives through the door, you know, pick it up with a tissue and put it on a side, Michael, right? And don't open it. You know it's a package from me. You know it's something in the package, leave it there. Leave it there for a day or two until you have, until you feel sure that if there is anything on it, it's gone. The one thing that we absolutely know 100% is that I've got the COVID. We know that now. That's 100%. So if I've got the COVID, anything I touch has also got the COVID. Samuel Lockwood says 48 hours it will last. So there is this talk of like 48 hours, 72 hours. We're talking about 2 or 3 days. So in order to be just a little bit more careful, when you get that package, I mean, I'm now at the point of like, I'm getting, well, there's no point with me now, but I was, if I was getting a package, I left it there. I've had a couple of boxes delivered and I just kicked them over there on the side and left them there for a few days before opening them. And I would suggest that you guys do the same. Especially from a package that has come from me. I mean, there's another one that some of you are getting off me, right? And again, it's all plastic. Same with us, we had it all. It was bad, not sure it was bad. And sadly, Sue's mum passed away from it, absolutely. Some people are passing away from it. Apparently, one of the things that happens is you catch it like we've got it and you have a bit of a rough few days and then you start getting better. And then apparently it can just turn again and come and get back at you again. So you almost like have a second wave within your own bubble. Like now it's not gone. I'm talking like somebody that's got cold. Who knows, the next day, the day after, I could suddenly be flat on my back and out of it for a few days. Scott's still got problems with his chest and that's been several weeks now. So I thought it would be really important to come on and just give you this reminder and let you know. And even some of you probably wouldn't have thought of it. You know, you'd probably be thinking, oh yeah, Ian's got the virus. And then I send you a parcel and off you go merrily opening your parcel and going, oh, let's see what I've got. Not realising. None of us know how long it lasts on every single surface. Plastic is different to metal, is different to the, pipe, plastic, metal, glass, all that kind of stuff. So, pen, metal, plastic, nobody knows how long it lasts on the different bits and pieces. Paper, I'm picking up a piece of paper and I'm putting that in your parcel as a compliment slip, which is what I do every time. You know, sometimes I'll write on it, but it means I've touched it. And the only possible way, if you think about it, that I could make sure that I don't pass the virus on to any of my packages would be literally to wash my hands and change a pair of gloves every single time I touch an item. Well, when you get into the realms of putting all these coins in all these sheets that I'm sending you guys, could you imagine? It would be impossible. It would be absolutely impossible for me to clean and wash my hands and disinfect every single item that I touch and put in. I mean, just this alone, this is just part, this isn't even all of Chris Dyer's parcel, this is just part of Chris Dyer's parcel. You've got 30, 60, 90, you've got nearly 150 items there, individual items that have been touched. So, just to be on the safe side, back in here, just to be on the safe side, I thought the best thing I could do is come on, this is where it is. You should have disinfected the phone. It's nice the phone, but you cannot put that onto the doctor, sorry to say, but you should have thought about it. Absolutely, Samuel. And if you'd have heard what I said at the beginning of this, I was very clear about the fact that I am not in any way, shape or form putting any kind of negativity over to any of the employees or any of the nurses of any of the hospitals. I said that at the beginning. So you're quite right. I should have thought of that while I'm lying there in bed and I'm saying to a nurse, oh, would you mind putting my phone on charge for me? I should be cleaning that phone. I should be disinfecting that phone myself, then passing it over to the nurse. And then when the nurse gives me back the phone, they should then be disinfecting the phone. What I'm saying is that we don't all think of it. And that's where we sometimes take our eye off the ball. And that's not blaming anybody. You can't blame the hospitals because they are absolutely doing their nutsies best. They're working their little socksies off and trying desperately to make sure that everything is covered and clean and PPE'd up and all the rest of it. What I am saying is that there are areas in which people don't think like I didn't think. You know, I've caught it from a peripheral of something, whether that's a pen, whether that's because I've given my phone to be put on charge, whether that's because I've picked up a coffee cup that somebody's made me a cup of tea. I have absolutely no idea. What I do know from common sense is I know that it's hardly likely that I've caught the virus from close contact, because there was no close contact without PPE. Not a single person in the hospital, and I went to 2 hospitals. I first went to Dorchester, and then I was then blue lighted over to Bournemouth, where they had the team waiting. And from the moment they took me in there, everywhere I went, everybody was PPE'd up, everybody was gloved up. It's not a question of that, it's a question of there are some things that we have to appreciate that a person cannot, you know, with the best will in the world, they cannot wash their hands and change their gloves and wipe things down every single minute of the day. Otherwise, if you think about it, every time a patient went to the toilet, you'd have a nurse standing outside the door, because it's traffic, isn't it? You know, if there's 40 beds in a ward, you've got 40 people. You've got 40 people wanting to get up and go for a wee, or go to the toilet, or have a shower, etc. So if you was going to make sure that absolutely everything was sterilised, I mean, the amount of staff it would take just to have somebody standing outside every single toilet, every single staff room, it's virtually impossible. And we all have to take this on board, and we have to take our own responsibilities for it. And I have to take my responsibility for it, because something I did, something I didn't think about, as Richard says, something I didn't think about, is what's helped me contract the virus. I've then come home and given that virus to Fran. And I've also come home and after a few days started organising some packages. Well, you know, I'm sending them out. Well, if as Richard says, it only lasts 48 hours, for example, what happens if I put an envelope in the post and it gets arrived in your place before 48 hours, and you then go and open that envelope? I've now given you the virus. So I think the most careful and sensible thing I can do is to come on here and say so is that any of you that are expecting packages from me, when you receive that package, and even if not just a package from me, but other people, but certainly, most certainly, a package from me, an envelope from me, a package from me, a parcel from me, anything like that, please let's not assume that it's okay. That's what I'm saying. Let's just not assume that because it's been in transit for, say, 48 hours, it's okay. Because there are other people that are going to touch that package en route. There are other courier drivers. You know, I send a package to you today, it gets picked up by a Hermes driver who puts it in the back of their truck. If that person's wearing gloves, cool. But unless they're going to change their gloves every single time they pick up a package, then when they pick up my package, if my package is infected and they've got gloves on, they put the package in the back of the car, they go to the next house to either pick up a package or deliver a package and use the same gloves, then they're transferring it. So even if it's going through normal post, it's going to be touched by various postmen en route. Not everything is automatic. It's going to be touched by various courier drivers en route. It's not all going to be automatic. So it's not just going to be about what's on the package that I send you. It's also about who else touches that package en route. When the package leaves me, you can quite rightly say, like Richard did, well, if it's 48 hours, then, and that package takes 48 hours to get to me, then the package is going to be safe. On the one hand, that works. On the other hand, logically speaking, it doesn't work because someone else is going to have touched that package en route. And if somebody touches that package after 24 hours, then you've got another 48 hours or 72 hours. And if somebody touched that package that happens to be a carrier or has the virus 3 hours before the delivery, well, then you can tag another 48 hours on the end of it because it's now been reinfected again. And this to me is how it's running rampant in places like hospitals and care homes, because they absolutely can't, people can't, this is a lack of diligence. Well, yes, it is. It is a lack of diligence, as I just said, lack of my own due diligence. But it's something that you cannot, I would say it would be impossible for every hospital and care home to watch every single item that has been touched. You know, most people put a pair of gloves on and they think the gloves are protecting them. But of course, once you've touched something with the virus on it, the gloves are infected. And you know, you see any of you that have been in hospital lately or seen it on the TV or whatever, you'll see the nurses, they're changing their gloves 20, 30, 40, 50 times a day. But it's still running rampant and it's still getting out there. And I think it's getting out there because of the peripherals, because of the things that we're touching that people are not thinking about. And I'm a very careful person. You know, I've got a lot of health issues, so I was extremely worried when I went into hospital. First thing Fran said was, this is the best place for you, but it's the worst place for you. And we were frightened that I would end up catching the virus while in hospital. So that was on my mind all of the time. It was on my mind. But still, as Richard pointed out, I let myself down on a due diligence because I'm touching and using things that I'm just not thinking about and assuming are safe when they're not safe. So I just want to pass that on to you. And like I say, there is no negative connotation against anybody working in a hospital or a care home or anything like that. What I'm doing is just maybe bringing it to your mind. And maybe like me, you didn't think of things like this. I keep saying Richard Lockwood, it's Samuel Lockwood, isn't it? And maybe like me, you hadn't thought of things like this, and maybe like me, you're not necessarily thinking that the postie man doesn't know that you've COVID and the delivery postie man, so you've increased the rate just doing this. Yeah, exactly. And that's exactly the point that I'm making, Samuel, is that that's exactly what I've done over the last week in sending out the parcels, and again, not realising, not thinking, which I'm now doing, catching up with my own brain matter and going, oh, hang on a minute, I'm also contributing to this. Hence why I'm doing the video. That to me is doing a little bit of due diligence, because I'm now letting you know that I've gone and wrapped and packed some stuff, working away, putting them in the post, sending it to you, when of course I've got the virus. So part of my job this week was going to be catching up with some of the posting. What I'm now going to do is not touch it. I'm going to leave it alone. So I've got some that are on the way. So those of you that do get a parcel off me or a package or an envelope off me, just kick it to one side and don't open it, or disinfect the hell out of it before you open it, because you absolutely know that the person who sent you that package has got the virus. That's what we know. We know that the person who sent it to you, me, has got the virus. So let's just be a little bit careful, all right? And so when you receive those packages off me, disinfect the life out of them, wipe them, wash your hands afterwards, try and cut the package open without touching it too much, put a pair of gloves on, and then throw the gloves away and throw the entire packaging away straight in the bin, and then wash your hands again. That's about the safest thing that you can do. You know, kick it to one side, leave it there for a day or two, open the package with a pair of gloves on, wash your hands afterwards, throw the package in straight away so that it's not even in your house and you're not touching it, and maybe even leave the contents, you know, maybe tip out the contents and leave them on a table for a day or two, right? That's probably the safest thing that you can do and the safest bit of advice that I can give you. Outside of that, I have got some more that I've done down there that are in envelopes, and I think the best thing I can do is just leave them in the bag for a few days, so that if there is anything on them, it's going to just hopefully evaporate, and then put them in the post in a few days' time. So let's just essentially further delay me sending out any packages to you for the moment till I'm clear. Because the last thing I want to do is make any of you ill. You know, we're a little bit younger, 50s, some of you are in your 70s. Do you know what I mean? It's dangerous shit, this. And I don't want to be passing it on to you. So that's about the best I can do, is let you know. Do I feel foolish? Yes, I feel like a complete and utter arse, to be fair. I feel really stupid, and I can't believe, with all the talking that we've done over the last year, and certainly all the talking that I've done over the last year regarding the coronavirus and, you know, how you can catch it and how you can't catch it and all the rest of it, then I need to sort of, although I've dropped the ball, and as I say, I feel like a complete and utter arse in not thinking about it. I should have thought about it when I came home. I should have thought about it when I first thought, oh, I'm coming down with something, and we sent off for the test and trace. And I should have thought about what I was passing on to the packages. And I didn't. It was just not in my head, just like using a pen in the hospital. Just wasn't in my head. Asking them to charge my phone, I wasn't thinking. And I think that's, you know, maybe a lot of us are like that. You know, we're so concerned with what we see right in front of our eyes that sometimes we miss what is right in front of our eyes, as I've done. So I'm hoping to Christ I haven't given any of you the virus. I hope to Christ I haven't passed any of this on to you, and I'm hoping that I've caught you in quick enough to be ready for any package that comes through from me. You always know it's a package from me because on the back, on the back of every package, you've got one of my address labels. I always put one on the back, so you know it's from me. But certainly to be safe, it would make sense that that any package that comes through your letterbox, you're a bit careful on how you handle it. You know. That's it. That's all I've got to say, really. Mine takes so long to arrive, but just in case I do disinfect my parcels, don't be so fucked. Yeah, thank you. Wait till you don't have the virus and then wait 48 to 72 hours. That's a bit tricky, but keeps everybody safe. It's absolutely right, you know. And that's what I'm going to be doing. So you don't want a parcel, I don't win. Which of course applies to anybody that's won anything of late, that I've now got to put a parcel together or a package together to send you, you know. But so that's it. That's all I've got to say, really. My parcel arrived just before dinner. Spray. Yeah, make sure you see your one only got picked up. You shouldn't have even been there that quick, Ian. Only got picked up yesterday. So you know, but like I say, that's been delivered to you within 24 hours, and I've got the virus. So if, as Samuel says, it lasts for 48 hours, then chances are your package is infected, Ian. And to be safe, you know, I think that's what you said, you disinfected it when you opened it. Be careful. That's all you can say. Thank you, Lisa. So that's it. I don't want to take up too much of your time, and I know you've got the draws going on. We'll keep doing the draws. The draws are on this afternoon, 3 o'clock, and they'll be on Friday. I'm just gonna, and Katie is sending me through the paperwork to let me know the list of all the winners. I'm just ignoring that for a week or so, and then we'll get back on top things in a week or so's time, and then I'll start wrapping and packing and sending parcels off. I have got a couple of parcels here that are for people that are in their 70s, and I know they're in their 70s, so there's no way, David and Peter, for example, you're both the wrong side of 70, so I shan't be sending yours out till next week at least. So that's how I'm going to be dealing with it. I should have done better days ago. Should have maybe even realised and done this video days ago, but I didn't. And so that's on me. Hopefully, Ian, you're okay, and everybody else is okay that receives a package. Just be careful. And just as you know, that's why I'm not going to send out any more packages for at least a week. Anything that I wrap and pack or put together, I'm not even going to wrap and pack and put anything together for a few more days until this is gone, until at least next week, and then I'll start wrapping and packing again next week if it's gone. And if I'm not comfortable that it's gone from both of us, then I won't do it next week, and I'll do it the week after. What you can be confident of is, if you've won anything, you will get it. Sprayed and in quarantine till the weekend, busy with homeschooling just now. That's the way to do it, Ian. Anything that you do win, you will be getting. The people like Ian will testify to that. You know, the parcels do go out. They might be going out a bit delayed at the minute, but they are going out, and all the winners are getting whatever it is that they've won. So there you go. Stay safe, best you can, and whilst you're thinking about all the things that you should do and shouldn't do, think of the peripheries. Think of the things that you're not normally thinking about. And that will also help keep you safer for longer. All right then, thanks a lot. Take care, and have a good one this afternoon. Good luck to everybody this afternoon. I hope somebody wins a gold coin this week. That would be quite nice, whilst you're all off isolating and stuff. And I'll catch up with you probably later on in the week or next week. Thanks a lot, and thanks to Chris and Lorna and Katie and Richard for keeping everything going. Thank you. Bye for now.